Good morning, this is Plum Silver, and I'm going to do here a little bit of a sort of mismatch analysis of many cards following up the last draw I did for Dr. Ammon Hillman. And I'm going to kind of give you an idea that it's got something to do with the purple color, 77, and I'm going to explain you a lot of the cards, all the meaning of the other cards, and different tarot decks, why they kind of sort of all relate, and speak a little bit more about this symbolism that we can find in tarot. I have here a nice cool image of a skull. It's a little devil. That's the back of it. I'm going to explain that a little bit deeper. You see the zigzag? Something's cooking. So 777. I'm going to show you what all this number means here. Now, when I did the draw for Dr. Ammon Hillman, I was talking about, a creative vessel that he became. He became this way when he expressed himself through his videos, and how, the ladder going into the detail, like right at the source of thing. Now, that center card for me was really important because it's the Two of Sword, and she's blinded here, and then there's this little dragon there coming and peeking over and trying to lure her to open up her eyes. Now, the vessel here, which is the feminine side, where the Ace of Wands would be the masculine, because it's the energy, and the woman dreams and the man enacts the dreams. So she dreams this, and this is what's happening, and it becomes a master. Now, this flow of emotions, the poison or the drugs, then when it comes into it, this is how it's going to open up this, and then suddenly you become a master at what you've discovered, And he does paint in this, in the Ten of Wands, this final painting. You see this man, he's a master's painting with all what he gathered. And there's a woman, a beauty here, like a goddess here, that she's just sitting there and saying, I'll show you my pure, vulnerable side, and then you'll be able to see through. Okay, so you can go in deep layers with doing draws and tarot. You could read them very on one level, but I found that this was important to bring back the cup here, because it's the Holy Grail in a way, and we're into the theme of religion with Dr. Ammon Hillman, which he talks about. And now there's the book, the Septuagint. I'm gonna have to go look for it here. I have it somewhere in my. There we go. Septuagint Bible in English. Well, this one's a translation in English, but you see the number LXX. Remember this. I just want to show you that. And there's the whole debate about what came from Hebrew, Greek. To me, it's not important anymore, because I found that it's more that what we're seeing is the portal that is getting open right now in this time. We're going into the year of the snake, by the way, and that, to me, that's important. As a chariot, feeling energy to the chariot is the number 7, and here also in the Tarot de Marseille, you've got the chariot, the red and the blue horse mixed together. You get purple. And then the chariot in the fantasy tarot here cards, we got the purple horse, blue, and then there's also a mixture here. But you see the number 7, you got to remember, I'm going to have to point that to you. And what I'm trying to show you with other images. This is a follow-up from the draw I did. Often when I'm getting into the zone of reading cards, which is always kind of brings me into it, it's through synchronicity, and for me, it's a flow of information that comes in, and I put things together. A little bit like how the witch doctor, which I just discovered and really like the way he works. I love his energy, and he's really good. And I'm going to show you some images here that's going to start explaining to you a little bit more. Okay, we're going to start from the top here. Okay. Now, this is with a friend, Karen, that I'm going to read a little bit about here. Interesting timing on Christmas Day, and that's what she's writing to me. A few weeks ago, I discovered Ammon Hillman and heard him say on the Danny Jones interview, "What is the Christ? It is a Greek word for applying a drug to your eyes, so may be open." He also describes the heavy use of drugs in ancient time to get into altered states and for death, rebirth experiences. Christ is the application of drugs into the eyes, and Antichrist is the administration of the antidote. And today I'm watching a Dune Prophecy episode on Max. Pay attention to this because Dune Prophecy, okay, from the movie, it was like sort of ingested, you know, this liquid, the water of life, blue or something that is extracted from the original, I think, worms. The fetus one. I think the early ones. Well, I don't know if we'd call it fetus, but anyway, the early ones, you know. And then that's that water of life. And also Paul, I think it was with a tear. Not Paul, but in the second movie, it was with a tear of this woman that he liked, who was a warrior that saved him. Water of life, tears. Anyway, and these ancient time, the Bennett, that's in the Dune Prophecy one. The Bennett justice, which were used a blue drug administered into the eyes in order to induce the agony, the process through which a sister almost dies and connects to all her dead ancestors, then comes back to life as a Reverend Mother in the Dune movie. This drug is taken orally, but in Dune's prophecy, taking place 10,000 years earlier, the agony drug is administered into the eyes. In Dune, Paul takes this drug, that's the movie, almost died, then he's reborn and says, "Father, the sleeper has awakened." Well, I think we're kind of going into this time right now because I think we're having a lot of things that are, you know, shocking our eyes right now. We don't need drugs anymore. Well, interested in coincidence, she says. Interesting timing on Christmas Day. Okay, so this is where we get a lot of synchronicity with my friend Karen and I, and another friend too, which is Celia, and she's got some very good books and goes into the underworld, and she's Greek. You know, everything kind of connects, eh? Isn't that amazing? Anyway, also a cool couple of days ago, I posted the song "Drug in Your Eyes" by Teddy Bass, a very interesting magician character, also used by Ammon Hillman in his videos. Now, this image here, you can see that's from the Dune Prophecy. I think that she says 1,000 years before the movie. Well, that's the story they're saying. They're administrating it in the eyes. Okay, and that's cool. And there's our little devil purple that she received a couple years ago. No, last year, I guess. It zigzag. You know, 7/7. It's electrified. Dune is here. We have the image of the eyes. And all right, so we also, now we're going to go into Aleister Crowley book 77. Now we're in the number 7, okay? This is from the Thoth deck, and we've got the stars and 6 point. In the center is the, Karen here says, phallus pointing to us. And Oz, equal to the number 666. Lady Babylon 666. And here you got the LXX. You see, that's from the book there that Aleister Crowley, 1 page apparently. And we've got the phallic. I don't know if we could see it very well. I'm going to put these images and all these photos into my Facebook, and I'm going to link it so that way we can, anybody wants to look at this in more detail, we'll be able to do that. Now, again, we're going to continue with the 7. Also, about 7, the 7th chakra is purple. Ammon mentions the purple many times. It is a kind of drug extracted from a sea snail. You see in the prophecy, the Dune movie, that blue water, it's from a worm. That stains fingers and mouth, burning purple. You see, they're kind of really like, you know, carrying the same information, in my opinion anyway. But maybe not. So here my friend Karen again says, also hold on to your bootstrap. This is how you have to do. You gotta have to have fun with all this. Christ is number 77 when you add up all the letters, you know. with numbers. So that's really a cool way to look at the number 77. And now she mentions again about her purple demon that received on Christmas Eve. It's so perfect. Now here's the witch doctor. I'm gonna put, if I press on the photo, then I'll be able to show you 77. That was last night. You see, again, I'm in the zone. Like right now, that's what you do with tarot. You kind of get into a game of playing with all this, and you have to have fun. And he's like this. I really like his energy, his knowledge. I think he was a student in art, and he was very much immersed in this information, even from his family. And so 77, and there you go. He's quite special, and I really like his work. And I think Dr. Ammon Hillman, I think I listened to the one yesterday. He actually likes it. So yesterday, again, I'm in the zone. What do I have in my inbox? 666 messages. I need to delete them. It's just, most of it is junk. But, you know, there you go. All right. So here's my friend Sylvia, who has some of her books, and she's Greek. And she has deep knowledge into the underworld of stories, and how do you go into finding yourself, really, and the universe keeps speaking to you. She's got a series of 3 books, and I think if anybody's interested in knowing, reading about that, you see, we're a little group of 3 women together that we talk like this. Karen's into the numbers, I'm into tarot, and Sylvia's into writing books. And we're back and forth sharing our information, always having fun and having a great time. Now, she quoted this a few years back, and I really like that because to me, it really describes the time we're into. It's the masculine energy enacts what the feminine energy dreams, and the female dreams inward, the masculine dreams outward. It's very beautifully said there. Now, the last card I wanted to show you here is the 2 of Swords. I don't know if I did show you this one. Here's the purple. That's the 2 of Swords. And this is from the deck from Ciro Marchetti that I mentioned to you that I use. I really like L'Héritage du Tarot Divin. And he's got the purple veil over his eyes. Okay, so again, it kind of brings back the story together with the 2 of Swords being the center. And when I was doing the reading, I connected from this general deck of cards with the Universal Fantasy Tarot, and I had this one in the center. So it really shows you that we're really going to all this information kind of gets gathered all together. Right? And everybody is sharing this and having fun to it. And we're getting pulled from every side with this. And we're in between the world with the devil and the sun, you know. So, and I have to tell you something about, man, I can really go on about tarot cards because I used all kinds of system. But L'Héritage du Tarot Divin of Ciro Marchetti was approached by a fellow in Italy, and that's his story, I read his books, to design the tarot. Like he's a designer, he's an artist, really beautiful, beautiful work he does. And look at her eyes, eh? Isn't that interesting? And that's the Queen of Wands. It's brutal truth when you have her look at you. Yeah, Queen of Wands. If you get that card as your card, like, people around you need to watch out, okay? Because you're going to really hit them hard with your truth. And she really looks deep into your eyes about things. Anyway, so that is symbolism of all his cards and also his decks in Lenormand, which is the snake here, number 7. Ciro Marchetti had to go to this place in Italy, and he went to a portal. This patron who says, I want you to come to my place. I'm going to show you about what I've seen. He almost lost his life, this fellow who actually, that's on his property. Can't remember the name of it, but if you do read the books of L'Héritage du Tarot Divin, Ciro Marchetti describes you the story, how he went and get into designing this. So he had to walk into this place, and he entered an altered state, but he had to be in a specific area there on the property of this fellow. And the other guy, I guess, made sure that he was going to come back alive from it. He says, you can't go in there with, like, you know, cameras and things like this, but you're going to be bombarded by images of so all the symbolism of tarot that he designed in his deck is from that experience. So that kind of shows you that, you know, the symbolism of so much through arts, through how we enter it, if it's through drugs or through arts, which I think now today we don't really need any of that drugs, and all these people that are kind of like going into it right now. It's more of a kind of an ancient way of doing, because we have all within our own body. We have that vessel, because the moment we're made from the earth, we have that vessel that we're capable to enter this and discover and become masters of ourselves. That if we go within ourselves, and you know, we have all that chemistry to create that. And this is the frequency that we're going to be moving towards as we become spiritual and more spiritual. And I think our eyes are getting open. Next year is the year of snake, so you know, be ready, you know. And I think it's perfect timing that Dr. Ammon Hillman, he's sort of gathering all this information, giving it freely in a very generous way. And also other people are getting together to express themselves. And there's also this Dr. Kip, I think, is like Davis, or anyway, I didn't really do a card reading on it. I think he's a master what he's doing also too, but I'm not going to go and do a card reading on him, because I think he's just boxed in an area. He needs to keep himself in the perfect line. And a lot of them that are criticizing Dr. Hammond, they have to keep themselves into a line. We see having the advantage of playing with cards or looking at art like the witch doctor is doing, is we can really have fun and just sort of analyze symbolism, and we can get away with it. Artists always can get away with so much. That's the beauty of it. If you go into the zone and you go with the flow, and for me, card reading, that's the way it is. Everything suddenly starts laying out in different images with different tarot card decks. This morning I was looking for the Chariot cards on all my other deck. They happened to be both of the decks that I kind of was just taking out. The Chariot was at the bottom. So it was holding each deck with the same Chariot card. I thought, what a coincidence. Is there a coincidence? I don't know. But definitely there's a trickster with a 7. And all these 7 numbers I was showing you, I think they really do, you know, an important number here, because it's movement, it's energy, and all in the tarot cards, all the 7 cards are quite energetic, and they can really deceive you. I don't know if I mentioned this here. The 9 of Swords in my deck of the Universal Fantasy Tarot doesn't have a number, where all the other cards have a number, like 9 of Wands, 9 of Cups, and this one doesn't. And when I purchased this deck, I was kind of like wondering, what is this card? 9 of Swords, Unfounded Nightmare. Trapped into our own little world. Like, you're going into a dark world. I had a dream when I was a teenager that I was coming through a metro station. We have metros in Montreal. And the station I arrived happened to have no name. Kind of like this. And it was in my dreams. And that dream stuck to me quite a long time, for many, many, many years. And the interesting part of that dream is we were a group of we traveled together, and we were all trying to hide because we were afraid. And we were afraid of something, and something came to fumigate. I guess it's like one of those things you spray a poison into a room, and everybody fell asleep. We had to pretend to be asleep to safeguard ourselves. And through that, we knew that we just had to sort of become incognito a little bit. And through my dream, I found that I was also talking to people, and then I was showing them a bracelet I had on my arm. And that bracelet was a story of my life. Now there's I think with what we're going with technology, and we may end up having to wear these bracelets that will have all our information. Look at what people wants to chip into them. So I have a feeling this dream was kind of showing me a little bit of some part of a timeline that is existing in the future. And we're talking like, 50 years ago, because I'm just going to be 60 next year. So the year of the snake, by the way. And so anyway, interesting that that card, Nine of Sword, doesn't have a number. It brought me back into that dream, like thinking about that. Unfounded dream, nightmares. Swords is words, and you know. All right. Anyway, hopefully you like this. I know it's a mismatch of information, but that's how symbolism works. And have fun to look at synchronicities. And there you go. Thank you.